I'm Jess.
I'm Lindsay.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Natalie. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. On today's episode, it's time for the climax of the plot for the Marathon Weekend 2026 story. I am joined once again by Jess, Lindsay, and Sarah to discuss Marathon Sunday to conclude this Dopey Challenge Roundtable. We discuss the lead up to the marathon through the triumph of the celebration afterwards. So, lace up your shoes and step into the magic with us. Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another week. As you could tell, I sound a lot better, but spoiler alert for later, that changes a little bit. It's okay, though. We'll be good. Things will be fine. I am feeling a lot better. Feel pretty much back to normal at this point. Still, this is a little gross, but still got some mucus coming places, but kind of crazy that I was this sick over just a random virus, but it is going around right now. So definitely thankful that I guess if it had to come, it came at the time that it did, because we're leading into Disneyland week and it would have been really sad if I were still sick. That said, I haven't really done a lot of exercise. I am lightly trying to just even be more active around the house. Some very light weightlifting in the basement just to get my body moving and ready for this week. It's also really, really cold. Like most of the US, Florida seems like excluded. It got freezing cold this weekend. Up in my neck of the woods, there was a risk of exploding trees. And I'm going to touch on that really quickly. So it's not just that a tree Thanos snaps goes poof, but it's more that I guess the bark on the outside heats up with the sun, and then it gets so cold that it just pressure builds and kind of cracks the tree. I haven't seen any exploding trees though yet. I don't have a tree to explode at this point in time, but I haven't seen any. Hopefully that stays the same, and hopefully there aren't people too impacted by that with this cold, and hopefully your loved ones are all staying warm as best you can. If you really got impacted by some snowmageddon, I hope that you are able to dig yourself out, and especially if you're down south, and I know you don't get snow as much, so even the smallest bit is catastrophic in a way. I hope you and your family are staying warm and safe, and power has been either, if it didn't go out at all, or it's been restored. I didn't get any additional blister brigades, so hopefully your blisters are all healing very nicely. But also, a little mea culpa is that I realized I said that this past weekend was peak week for if you were training for Disneyland, when it was definitely the prior week. My bad. Oops. My bad on that, where I was thinking of the week that had passed, and then, I don't know. Blame it on the sickness, blame it on just either which way. We are headed into race week. So we have 2 days until Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend 2026. Your check-in pass should have landed by this point, so very, very exciting. One note is that we did get related to Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend is that we will have corrals going down to I per the Galway Pace team. So there's not really as good of a way to guesstimate this, to be honest with you, as I feel like at Walt Disney World, but corrals will go down to I for the half marathon, I should say. And we'll see. We'll get more information in a little bit based on how deep they go for the other races. But happy race week for Disneyland Half Marathon weekend. We have just 30, count them, 30 days until Princess Half Marathon weekend 2026. That is crazy. I cannot believe we're at 30 days till Princess. 79 days until Springtime Surprise Weekend 2026. 268 days until Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2026. Club Run Disney registration is next week, and your general registration is on February 10th. So February 3rd is when Club Run Disney, you'll get your links as well, and then the following week is general registration. We do have a proof of time deadline, which is June 1st of 2026, because we did get our themes this week, and we will talk about that momentarily. We have 344 days until Marathon Weekend 2027. Club Run Disney registration is on March 10th, and then general registration will follow 1 week later on March 17th, St. Paddy's Day. On to the news, and the news that really popped off, because I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was definitely expecting springtime medals this week before I expected Wine and Dine themes or even like a Princess merch preview. So this will be very funny if yesterday, when you're hearing this, we got the springtime medals, but maybe we just won't get them until after Disneyland. I don't know. We got our Wine and Dine themes for 2026, and I'm going to give you all the themes and then discuss what needs to be discussed. So our 5K is Aristocats themed, and it's France, like nice French motif in the background. The 10K is Three Caballeros and Mexico. The half is the Mary Poppins Penguins, representing the UK. Y'all know how I feel about that. And the challenge is the Grumpy Challenge, and that's a representation of Germany. The artwork is beautiful. Kind of calling out the countries is really that there was, the different themes. It kind of brings in the food and wine theme. There's different aspects of the food in the artwork, as well as themes we haven't really seen in a while, if not ever. I don't think we've ever seen a Grumpy Challenge per se. The Mary Poppins Penguins, my children, they haven't been a theme before, or at least not in a really, really long time. Three Caballeros was pre-COVID, was last time that was a theme for a race, and that was the 2-course challenge that year. And Aristocats, I'm not sure have ever been a theme, at least, again, not very recently. So it's great. I think that they really killed it on the themes. If you were hoping for Star Wars, you have been or hoping it wasn't Star Wars, you've been marked safe from this. Now we're going to talk about the 5K. So the big news out of this was that the 5K is going to start at 4:30 in the morning. And I want to reference last week, which now feels like I really put my foot in my mouth, and how we talked about the extended and increased registrations for 5Ks. And I was like, they can add like 15 minutes, 30 minutes to the course. Well, they're going to start at 4:30 a.m. And it says on the Run Disney website that start times will range from 4:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. based on assigned start groups. Arrival times will vary depending on your start time. This has sent us all into a flurry because all it says is that updated details are coming soon. Stay tuned for more information. Now, with the way the 5K course currently goes, they let us out in the Epcot parking lot. We turn, and then we pass by the bus areas before we loop on in, and then we take a turn to go behind Test Track to enter the park around the first mile. I'm not sure exactly if that's going to hold for 2026, because if that holds, and if they want to keep buses there, people who start at 4:30, which I assume will kind of be our your faster people, they're all going to go right ahead, and they would have to wait. So what I'm wondering is, are they going to then maybe not make the buses so one way? So to explain that, so they drop you off on the buses at Epcot in like where you would be dropped off for a resort, not necessarily your resort, but just those bus stalls. So I wonder if what they'll do is before a certain time, have people walk back that way and get on the normal, like quote unquote resort buses. Because the reason that you don't do that currently is that at a certain point, people are then coming in on the regular Mickey buses from their resorts to come to the park for the day. So that would be a clog and cluster. So what I'm wondering is, I wonder if like up until, if you finish before 6:30, are you going to go back to the resort bus area? It's not a one way where like people will get on that bus and then head back to the resort. But then that also is a challenge because say you're finishing at 6 a.m. and say you're at a resort like you're at Old Key West or Saratoga. So if the buses aren't necessarily one way, how are they going to, if it's kind of a loop, and say I get on the bus at 6:15 from the resort area and I'm going to Saratoga because I stay there quite a bit. And are they going to then like miss people at Old Key West who say have like a different start time? And maybe 6:15 is a little bit dramatic to say that. Maybe let's say it's 5:15 because Disney still recommends you get there an hour before you're supposed to start. So that would be cutting it a little close. Are you then going to like have more people waiting at Old Key West because like you don't have that many spots on the bus because you have to go then drop off at Saratoga, or what? That I don't know. Also, is somebody who starts at 4:30 going to like have free reign of the course, right? Like, could they stay on that course for 3 hours long? I don't know. I don't know if they're going to then maybe need to sweep things because say they have like 5 or 6 character stops. I think 5 has been pretty standard, sometimes 6. Let's say we're above the 4 that we've had in the past. There is only so much time you could stay on the course, I feel like. If all of the character lines are like 25, 30 minutes, that does add up. Like, are they going to almost need to do like a sweep wave, right? So, or like everybody with a pink Aristocats bib needs to be off the course by this time. And then everybody with a purple Aristocats bib is on the course at this time to that time. But then what I'm curious about is like, are you going to like self-select your start time? Because I probably would just kind of stick with the same one, right? Like I probably would stick toward that 5 a.m. mark. It wouldn't really bother me that much because then you also can go about your day. But I don't know. Because then there's always the issue where like a minor child gets popped into a later corral, and like what happens if little Timmy is like a completely different, like, and this is just suggesting how they're going to split it up so that people aren't on course like multiple times, or like not multiple times, but for like a really, really, really long time. Because then also if Epcot opens around 9, early entries at 8:30, if you have a wave that goes off at 7:30, is that even going to could that be the faster people? I don't know, right? The people who will be off that course in about an hour so that they're cleared before. I don't know. There's just a lot of questions on how this is going to go. And I feel like we'll get at least like some information next week, or probably the registration when it opens for club members will be like bumping or like have a little bit more information. Because I feel like if you have to self-select a start time, it's going to be like most people I will probably go toward that 7:30 mark. If it's complete self-selection. I mean, like, I don't know, 6 would be cool. But you know what I mean? Like, especially if you're participating in the full weekend. And Wine and Dine is a guinea pig, right? When they make changes, they start them at Wine and Dine, and Wine and Dine has less participants overall than Marathon Weekend and Princess. So it's a good place to trial certain changes. So I don't know. There's just a lot of questions on how this is going to go. Because then also, they usually get the whole 5K released by like 6:05. So are we actually going to be tripling capacity? Tripling is a lot, because then you have to consider the impact on the expo, right? Because if you are, if triple the amount of people absolutely must go on day one, and let's just consider this as a weekend like Princess or Wine and Dine, where it's a split, it's a separate bib for the 5K and then a separate bib for the challenge. So people who are going to go for the challenge are not going to just go through the bib. Like I wouldn't go back for unless like it was like a dire situation where somehow my flights were delayed. I literally only had time to pick up one bib. That would be I would just go get my 5K bib, right? But for most people who are doing all three races they're just going to come once to the expo. So how is that going to work with the capacity there? Because that sounds like it could get wild fast. I don't know. I don't have the answers to this. Part of me has to think that they're not actually going to go straight into tripling the capacity. They might double it. And essentially, I think what might be a little bit more likely is they run 2 quote unquote full races. You know, you start at 4:30, that wave, let's say, or that like grouping of people is got to be off the course by 6:30 and maybe 6:15. And then they start the next one at 6:30 or so. I don't know. I'm interested to see how it works. For sure, it'll certainly be interesting. And there will probably be some kinks to work out. I want to believe that they've kind of considered what's going to be happening here before they decided to do it. There are always things that work out a little differently, but those are some of the questions that I personally have related to it. Could it be even that we have a completely different venue for the 5K? I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't think that we're going to completely change the venue, but could we? Perhaps. I don't know if it makes it like easier or better at Hollywood Studios, for example. Animal Kingdom opens the earliest, so probably wouldn't be that. But I don't know. We will definitely have to see how this all goes. One other note about Wine and Dine related things is that proof of time is staying at 2:30. We did get an extra month on it because last year your proof of time for Wine and Dine was due by May 1st. So got an extra month. So it's kind of nice to see some things start pushing back a little bit. So you have a little bit more time for POT, as well as Brooks shirts appear to be here to stay because the Brooks sizing chart is on there. I know there was a little bit of speculation as to, was it just a year-long partnership? I feel like it would be more than just a year, because especially I'm sure that they're making bongo bucks on the shoes. Exciting. I have some, I don't want to say mixed feelings about it, because I was initially trying to wait until the New York City lottery got called. And I think that's probably what I still will do before I try to get into Wine and Dine, which the lottery will open right before general registration, and then it gets called about a month later. So I don't want to keep putting myself in this spot where I like am hunting for a bib later. But there's a bunch of different amazing charity organizations and good times. Let me know what your kind of speculation is on the 5K and how that's all going to go. Because I guess what I want to emphasize at the end of this is that I do support the idea of increasing the capacity there, because I do like the idea of like people getting their starts, you know, like a 5K for a lot of people does seem a lot more manageable and reasonable than a 10K or a half, or, you know, in terms of training, fitting that into your life, being able to physically complete it. So, you know, being able to complete it as a family as well. So I do I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm optimistic about the idea of increasing the capacity in the first place. So, all right. We're going to talk about the Princess Half Marathon Weekend event guide next week. So stay tuned for that. But that wasn't the only piece of princessy news we got, because we got the merchandise reveal for Princess Half Marathon Weekend this week. I think they hit it out of the park with a lot of this. As we kind of noted when themes and stuff came out and we saw the little like preview for the pre-order merchandise, we're leaning into pinks, baby. Leaning into pinks for this Princess Half Marathon Weekend. So the spirit jersey is really pretty. It's got that like tie-dye pink, and all the princesses are on the front, and then Princess Half Marathon Weekend's actually on the back. There's a piece of athleisure for each event for the weekend. So it's like a cardigan for the Rapunzel half. Yoga has its cute little tank top. There's this like almost like, I don't want to say ribbed sweater, but it's almost like petals for the challenge. Super duper cute. The jacket's really cute too. It's this light pink. The shoe ornament's cute. The ears are back. So the ears with the patches that are removable are back for this weekend. We were missing ears at Marathon Weekend besides the finisher ears, of course. We got a preview of our mug. Run Disney's merchandise, they have KM talk about the merchandise also on a reel on their page, and that doesn't have, or that has additional items as to what is listed on the article that's on the Run Disney blog. So super duper exciting. Can't wait to be there. Already kind of counting down the days to Princess. Do I have costumes? Not really. But we're getting there. We're at least starting to think about this a couple weeks out before Disneyland. In terms of other news, we had the Garden Rocks concert series announced. It'll be most nights from March 4th to June 1st, that there will be concerts 3 times a night. And I wanted to highlight the ones that'll overlap Springtime Surprise Weekend. So April 17th and 18th, there will be Berlin. April 19th and 20th are the Commodores. So super exciting. There are some new acts coming in this year. It kicks off with like the music and the stylings of ABBA, which is amazing. And if you're going to be there at all, the festival runs from March 4th to June 1st. So that'll be spectacular and wonderful. Finally, last piece of news is that there is a new pass holder magnet that will be available February 5th through March 15th, Zootopia themed. It'll be available at Animal Kingdom at the Discovery Trading Post. You'll have to bring your ID to pick it up. And yeah, so you'll be able, if you're going during Princess Half Marathon Weekend, you will be able to get this magnet. All right, on to a few fun facts before we get into our main topic. On January 27th of 1893, English novelist Charles Lutwidge Dodgson is born in Daresbury, Cheshire, England. The pen name for this person is Lewis Carroll, and he's best known as writing Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which was later turned into a Disney film. On this day in 1969, actor Patton Oswalt is born in Portsmouth, Virginia, and he voiced Remy in Ratatouille. And on this day in 2023, 100 Years of Wonder kicks off at Disneyland Resort to celebrate 100 years of Disney as a company. This celebration will come to Walt Disney World after the 50th anniversary ends in April of 2023. Okay, on to the epic conclusion to our marathon weekend journeys. Welcome back, my guests. Talk to me about the rest of your half marathon day leading up into the marathon.
We went to Oga's,
Amazing.
which is probably like an unusual choice for half marathon day going into the marathon, but we had Star Wars. We wanted to celebrate. Everybody was together. We had a giant table of 12 people, I think,
Damn.
in Oga's. So we had a lot of fun, took some pictures. I left probably at like 2 or 2:30.
Same.
Mobile ordered some food, booted it up, and honestly, I think I was sleeping by 5.
Yeah, I took melatonin at like 4:30. I was like, I need to go to bed early. And I like love people and I love hanging out with everyone, but I was like, I need to go to bed or I'm gonna be cranky.
I went to Epcot and had dinner at Le Cellier. I don't recommend running through the park in UFAs.
No.
I did that.
Whew.
I felt fine.
A slippery, slimy situation in your foot.
I ran to check in for our reservation. It was fine. That's basically all I did. Best steak of my entire life, though. And I'm someone that doesn't really eat steak. Best steak of my entire life. And then
Damn.
I went to bed because I'm going to pat myself on the back real fast. I was in bed before anyone had to yell at me to be in bed, and I was awake, and there were no panic calls this weekend.
So impressed, honestly.
I'm impressed with myself. I don't think it will happen ever again.
Maybe. I went to my mom and I went to brunch at Raglan Road,
So good.
which I had never eaten there before, which my mom was convinced I had, but there's like I just kind of certain times where, when we don't travel together, like where she gets in earlier and then she goes there and then or I leave because I have to get back to work or whatever. Over the years, I had never actually eaten there. So the brunch was delicious. The fact that I got soup on a hot day actually does track pretty well with my track record. But it was really good. It was really good, like mushroom soup. They actually did have like a runner discount that weekend, which they don't advertise this stuff in the event guide anymore. But for most of them, they're like, hey, like, let me see like the medal. They're like, yep, we're good. And they apply the runner discount. So a lot of places at Springs do have them, even though they're not necessarily advertised anymore. My mom and I got we've split then an entree as well, an avocado toast. But that was really good. And then we went back to the expo because I will say that I was feeling like a little tight and I'm like, I could use the boots. And I had a squeezy session of my life. I did not bring my boots with me. Despite having 2 checked bags and a carry-on, I just somehow didn't have room for them. I did actually, okay, I probably could have made it work, but like I was very proud of the fact that I was not pushing weight on either of my pieces of luggage. Okay. Like I was low 40s, high 30s. Okay. That's pretty dang good for me. But I did the boots. Actually, there's a new one that has entered the arena. It's like orange. But when I got to the expo, I look and they had that flagged already as a moderate for they yellow flagged it. And I was like, did we know that this was yellow flagged? Like, cause I asked like the villains group or the Chicago villains group. And it was like, and they're like, how'd you see that? I'm like, I sent the picture from the expo. I'm like, there. That is where I saw it. I'm at the expo. So I kind of figured that Sunday was the last time I had this happen was during 2023, my first Dopey, where they had yellow flagged for Sunday. So I kind of knew. I thought that they were going to try to push us out really fast. And while they did push us out fast on Sunday, it wasn't as fast as I thought it was going to be, but basically an exercise caution. But anyway, I did the boots. I also got taped at the expo. I did not wait in line for Jeff Galloway. He kind of had a long line at that point. And like, that's usually kind of my vibe when I'm trying to PR. And I was not trying to PR this weekend. My mom had asked me, I think it was either before the half or the full, if I was trying to. I'm like, no. I think it was before the half. I was like, no. I was like, no, that's not happening. I was like, I can't, because I think I was like, I don't want to risk my marathon on Sunday. Not even PR, but like get a new POT after the debacle I'd gone through. But nar. I did actually went swimming for a little bit, even with my KT taped up legs, which was a little bit of a mistake. But I hadn't gotten in the pool yet. So a little bit of a mistake because then some of it started like peeling off a little bit because then I showered before I went to bed. But I was sitting in the hot tub vibing with some other like runners and like they were like really fast. Like we're like all Corral A homies. Like this was like some of their like 6th marathon, like this, like in the last like year type thing, like home, like fast. And I'm like, they were super duper nice dudes. But like the one guy's like, yeah, I'm pacing like this guy over here to like his PR. Like we're going for like a 4, like 4 flat, if not lower. I'm like, okay, we are not in the same zip code. Okay. Love that for you guys though. They were really nice though. But kind of a mistake I did make was I didn't like eat again because I was really full from brunch, but I should have eaten like a little something, like even if like a little kid's meal or something before I went to bed. Cause then like I fell asleep around like 5-ish and then I was up again at like 7. And then I did have to like 7:30. And then I had to pee. And then I basically saw that the Bears game had kicked off, and then I fell back asleep. And then I was like asleep for it. So that was a little bit of a mistake. And that's like something that sometimes if I don't eat enough before bed, like I will stay up. And I know that about myself. So I don't know what dopey brain was going on here that I didn't think about that, but whatever. On to marathon morning. Dun, dun, dun. How did you guys feel waking up for the marathon?
Very anxious. Not gonna lie.
This is the day the rager stopped.
Sarah's 3-day bender stopped and she had to come back to life, into the reality. Jess, how did you feel going into the full?
I felt good. I was ready. I was ready. I was chill, very chill. Let's do it.
As I was getting ready, and like also when I was going to bed, I was like, I have a marathon tomorrow. And then like it kind of was like, it was like real, but not real. I think because I had like already gone through this wave of emotions for Chicago 3 months prior, is that like the whole like, oh my God, it's a marathon, where I was just kind of like, didn't I just do that? Like, and not in a bad way, but in just a like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't feel, and it was good for me because usually I am like, I have a marathon tomorrow, holding on for dear life. So it was good for me to be like a little bit chiller about the whole thing. Like, I was kind of like, I got up at a somewhat leisurely pace. I was up at like 1:15, but you know, putzing around, like KT taping myself slowly. This day I was a Mouseketeer, so Mouse Natalie. You know, loading my vest very like leisurely. Like I think it was really just my water by that point, but I kind of knew that what was going to happen was going to happen. And basically, I went in strategically to the full going. I wanted to get as much mileage done in the dark as possible without like going like turbo, no turbo allowed, but like intelligently get as much mileage done in the dark because I knew I wanted to ride Everest this time. You know that I was going to absolutely positive split this. Not even a thought, prayer, dream. I was positive splitting this one. But that was okay because it wasn't like my race marathon of the year. So I was the lone soldier in C, where it was kind of nice because I did get there like a little later. Because I don't even remember when I got on a bus, but it wasn't all that early. Because I was like, well, the like couple minutes of like vibe time and like what I stood in that line getting my freaking corral fixed for. Yeah, vibes were good. I went going to gear check, dropped off my stuff, which was my beer cup. I didn't bother bringing my dopey medals back, my other medals back, because last year I did, and then I didn't take them out because I was too overstimulated. I'm like, I'm not touching anything else. I'm done. I think I had like an extra water. I got just some like extra. Oh, my UFUs. I did bring my UFUs for post race part with the post race area, which was clutch. Because after Chicago, I did not want to have my shoes on anymore. And I not only had to walk back to the Palmer house, I had to walk back to my hotel. So I was like, we're bringing 5 shoes after this. But talk to me about the starts of your races.
We were first bus in line for them to open the corrals. And then it was, I don't remember who was with us. MB, Lindsay, me,
I think everybody.
everyone. And then we got to the front. So we were in the front of the corral, basically.
Very nice. I did, I think, see you guys as I was but I was too far in. As I was going in to see where, but you guys were actually in the very front of the corral. I did notice this morning that they were pushing us out fast, like about 90 seconds between the first couple waves versus the 2 minutes. So at the end of the day, we only got out 2 minutes under what we were supposed to. I think the balloon started at 5:26, but they were definitely, I was like, oh, they are not effing around right now. Like they're not, because they knew conditions were this morning. I feel like again in the early hours was cooler.
I thought so too. And even like, I guess, I don't know, further into the marathon, I was like, I'm not hot. And they're like, and like the race, like they were starting to say it was getting hot. And I said, I felt like wine and dine half was worse.
I think I would agree with you. There was a point where I was like, okay, we're over.
Yeah, like
You're hot.
after like the sponges were handed out, we're fast forwarding, I'm sorry. But after the sponges were handed out is when it started to get hot. But like during the wine and dine half, like mile 7 is when I started dumping cups of water on my head.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I was the winner of the wet t-shirt contest because I had enough water actually in my hydration vest that I would take my Powerade cup, drink it. I would take the water cup, dump it, and then I would sip from my own water by a certain point of the full. But it was my goal to I had a couple little goals in here and like get to the castle at like not as early as I did last year because again, I wasn't racing this year. I got there not that long after. I did make 3 bathroom stops, 2 in Epcot in the first couple miles because one of them the line wasn't moving, and then I was like, okay, to American Adventure we go. Those bathrooms are bigger. And then I made one in Magic Kingdom. So that all considered, I did get to the castle around a similar-ish time to last year. Not quite as early, but
That was my goal too, is to get a second dark castle photo, and I got it. I was crushing goals all weekend.
hell yeah, you were. And then also another sub goal was like getting myself through mile 14 without feeling like I was going to vomit. Because during Chicago, things started going downhill around 14. So I basically was like, I was going to make the joke. I was like, I just saw the 14-mile marker and I don't feel like I'm going to puke. But I was like, it's too early to make that joke. It's too early. I was going to go just to my husband. Not that he was made aware of my gastrointestinal distress until later. I remember like thinking as I was going down Bear Island Road, I was like, okay, like we feel good. We're okay. We feel good. We're okay. We feel good. We're okay. 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 I think we're good. Like I think we're good. Because I was paranoid about it. I knew that this was a day since it was going to be hotter that I did feel a little bit more. I was under my 30 minutes. So probably about 20 to 25 minutes. I think I took 4. I don't remember if I took 3. I think I took 4 pickle shots during the full, about every hour and 15, hour and 20 ish. But I knew that like the more you put in, the more risk you have of like disrupting your ecosystem. But I also know that your body burns fuel way more quickly when it's hot. So I was a little bit like trepidatious, I should say, heading into Star Wars miles of Bear Island Road post Magic Kingdom. It's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Because that's just where, I mean, let me tell you, y'all, feeling like you're going to throw up at mile 14 of a marathon, there's a lot more marathon to go. Let me tell you. Basically, there was nothing else that could have bothered me on Sunday because I was like, I don't feel like I'm going to vomit. Or the other way, this is great. But headed into Animal Kingdom, I was trying to suss out the Everest situation in some of the other groups that I'm in because I knew of our group, I was the first there, so I was the messenger. But I was trying to like scroll the Facebook groups, like scroll the villains chat, like what's the Everest situation? So we run by Everest. It says it's a 30-minute wait, and I start running past it. And then this one guy goes like, he's coming off of it, and I was like, hey, like how long did you wait? He's like 10 minutes. I was like, even though it says 30, he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. So I turned around and went back and went in line. I waited about 15 minutes. I had, I think like an hour and 15 on the balloons, if not an hour and 30.
Yeah, I think that was it. I think that's why I texted you because we were at Animal Kingdom about the same time.
Yeah, I was in line when Jess was entering Animal Kingdom. And so I rode Everest. I went through because they did not have single rider open at all. It was just standby. But they did have it kind of inflated to say the least. So I guess my advice to anybody looking to do Everest again is that ask people who are coming off about how long they waited. Or you can do the lightning lane thing, but like I feel like that's a little bit harder to time out. But I'm so glad I did it. I will say that up at the top before you go backwards, we were paused for like 90 seconds, but it was like the longest. It felt like it was 10 minutes. I was like, oh my God, 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 oh my God. Like, I was like, okay, they have to be able to evac this closer than an hour. And like, yes, I would eat out my whole buffer, whatever. It was fine. It was fine. It was like maybe 90 seconds that we were up there and like kind of paused a little bit longer than normal. But like, it was awesome. I'm so glad I did it. And like, it was kind of funny to like sit down. I'm like, this is the first time I've sat down. Like, I don't even know if I sat down in the corral. Maybe I did. It's like, I haven't sat down in like 5 or 6 hours. And now I am sitting. And actually it was kind of refreshing. Like I didn't feel like stiff getting out, but that's the nature of the Everest seats versus like, I don't think I'd be able to get in and out of Rock and Roller Coaster at mile 23. I don't know if I'd be able to do that. Godspeed if you do, but I feel like that's a lot, way too much crawling. But Jess and I actually met up on the course because I saw her from afar as I was exiting Animal Kingdom. And I then I saw her and I'm like, okay, I will catch her eventually.
I stopped for a Coke and Mickey pretzel, and that was so fun.
Amazing.
But yeah, and then you caught up to me, and then we took a selfie with some goats.
Heck yeah, we did. I was very excited about the goats. So Lindsay and Sarah, how about your marathon kind of up to a certain point?
Animal Kingdom, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Talk to us about your races.
I had essentially started the marathon by myself. I went into the weekend saying, I just want to get as close to a 4:30 as possible. I had trained for it. I actually trained at paces faster than what I would need to do so that the paces I needed would feel easy. But I hit mile 3, and even though I knew I could do the dopey distance after the last 2 years that I had, I hit mile 3 and mentally my brain went, the first time in person you tried to do this, you stopped 2 miles after this because your Achilles almost ruptured. And then last year, you didn't even start. So that hit me pretty hard at mile 3, which isn't a good time for that to hit because you just started. And so I text CJ, my husband, and I was like, where are you? He was like, I just hit mile 3. And I was at 3.5 at this point. I had left Epcot and I was like, okay, I'm waiting for you. I'm not doing this by myself. And so he catches up to me and we start doing his pace, which is a lot slower than what I had planned on doing. And then we pass mile 4, I think, ish. And I'm still not doing great. And I was just like, can you please call MB or Lindsay and see where they are? Because at this precise moment, I don't want to keep going. I don't want to. So he called them, asked them hey, where are you at? They're like, oh, we're here. And he was like, okay, we're going to slow down so that you guys can catch up. And then eventually we just stopped fully and waited. And then I continued my race with them.
I almost wonder if it was your subconscious almost protecting you of hey girl, we just gotta get to the end this time.
I think so, because I have no other logical reason for why my brain was at mile 3. It's just no. Because my joints didn't hurt. Nothing hurt. My pace still felt easy. But for some reason, I couldn't. I about cried 5 times just in the span of 3 miles. So that wasn't fun. But
I wonder if you were just, your brain was listen, objective A is finish. And you got there. And you got by with a little help with your friends and your husband. So I think your brain probably did you a little solid there of we don't go to the well this time. We go to the mines because we want that little dwarf.
yeah.
Talk to me about your race, Lindsay.
Well, obviously, kind of very similar to Sarah. I had to drop out last year at mile 5, so the med tent that you see going across the on ramp, yeah, that was my ta-da moment last year. Thank you, flu.
Oof.
So, yeah, so obviously before we started, it was calm. I think I was pretty calm for the most part. And then I ran with MB, Megan, Ben, and Hannah for the beginning parts. And honestly, kudos to MB because she knew that that first couple miles was a huge mental game for me. Getting past the med tent where I got the Tylenol, getting past the med tent where I dropped out. She's like, I need Vaseline. And then I told her, I was like, you can stop. I'm good. I feel good mentally. I feel good physically. We can stop. But she was fantastic with just no, we're going to continue on, which we did, got past it. And then we picked up Sarah and CJ on the way to Magic Kingdom. And honestly, it was so much fun between MB and CJ. CJ was our own little pacer. And it was the funniest thing. Like you would hear him go 3, 2, 1, run, 3, 2, 1, walk. It was the funniest thing you've ever seen. And honestly, I think it's what we all needed at that point in time just to get through the first half, have fun, and then just get to the second part. Like every time we were like, okay, Park 1, Magic King, or Epcot, Part 2, Magic Kingdom, and then go on and so forth. Sarah got her character picture with Stitch, and I had my infamous every marathon I have a blister pop on the course. So this year it was Magic Kingdom parking lot. It did not hurt as bad as 2023, which was outside of Animal Kingdom. So luckily it was just like earlier on. But first half was definitely good. Everyone was in good spirits and we just chugged along.
Love to hear that. I feel like that first, like, that lead up to Magic Kingdom is like stressful. Like it is. Like you get through Epcot and you're like, that's a vibe, but then like you like get up to the highway, it's like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. And I can't say I didn't feel that this time too. Right? Like this, I was like, ugh, like, why do I feel like that? A little bit. Like, and it wasn't again, like, but it's the mental game, especially like knowing that it was gonna get hot. It was gonna heat up too. It's like, okay, like I feel good now, but what is that gonna mean later? What is that gonna mean later? And I do like how you have like the vibe time. I like to say like your quiet time on this course. Yes, like the highway is not nearly as exciting as when you're in a park, but at the same time, like sometimes you do need the reset of just quiet in a way. Jess and I were exiting Animal Kingdom when the scuttlebutt was that medical was getting overwhelmed.
Yeah. And I was like, what do you mean? It's not hot out. I feel great. And then I noticed a lot more bikes on the course.
Yep. It kind of, you started, as soon as that was set, like the writing on the wall and how many bikes were out, I'm like, oh boy. So, like any rational human does, I disappear and I send Jess a message. I was like, listen, to me, I was like, I want to try to get 26.2. To me, that is important. And so, and I'm also a little bit of a crazy person. So I went like a bat out of hell down Western Way, sprinting because I'm like, I need the parking lot. Because I knew logically that the next, because we had already left Animal Kingdom, they can't lop that off. At least, you know, you can't cut a course that you already did. But the only next part that they could realistically cut off is Blizzard Beach. So I'm like, as long as my tootsies hit that asphalt, I'm good. They're not gonna, like, if I'm in the park, like the only way for me to happen is that I'm gonna loop the parking lot. So I've never been so damn excited to see that damn parking lot in my life as I did. Absolutely like sprinting toward Blizzard Beach. Literally, like, again, if I've never Kermit run in my life, it was at this point in time. Not actually, but yeah, I had like sponges, like again, winning the wet t-shirt contest. I think I sent the message marathons are dumb to at least like 4 people, including my my like in-law family chat. Yeah. And this was, I mean, I made it through Blizzard with 30 minutes, I think, on the cut. So like I didn't have anything to worry about, and I did stop for Oogie Boogie outside Blizzard Beach, which I was excited about. But to me, I was like, I knew that I would be mad at myself if I didn't make it. I didn't make it. It was going to be whatever. But to me, I was like, if I didn't try, because I felt good, like I felt like I had the legs to do it. I wasn't going to be like over-indexing myself to do it. So I was like, I'm going to try. I am going to try to make the. I am going to try to make the cut, and I did. But yeah, again, I've never been so excited to like be in the middle of the Blizzard Beach parking lot as that moment where I was like, we are so here. We are back. Because then also like, I remember I was texting KG because she was checking in on me to see where I was at. And I was like, yeah, I got like 2 hours to go like 3 miles. I think I'm good. She's like, you're good. I was like, yeah, I'm just vibing at this point. She's like, yeah, I think you're just vibing. But, you know, heading toward Hollywood Studios, I did witness part of the great grand villain, some of the villains who helped somebody else to the finish line who had a really bad, like, I think her hip was hurting. She was leaning really badly. I kind of watched the Mad Hatter villain pick up this other person and like basically like support her. I didn't catch when Spider-Man joined the group, but kind of that story, that really good feel good story that's been kind of going around where like literally 2 villains like saved this person's race. and walked with her to the finish. So I actually witnessed the Mad Hatter kind of going up to her, which just sounds so weird and Disney-like in a way. Like, I saw the Mad Hatter save a woman during a marathon. But that is how it happened. I got through Hollywood Studios. I still actually am missing my Hollywood Studios in front of Tower Pick, which is sad. I don't know. I was like a menace as well. Like, basically as many high fives as I could give. I was a menace, just whacking hands. Got down the boardwalk. I was looking for somebody I knew. There were villains everywhere, but I was looking for someone I knew, and I actually didn't see her, or I might have looked right at her and like nothing. Someone I knew from my dancing days. But she, I got into Epcot. Kat delivered me a cider. I chugged a lot of it. I did have it until about the Spaceship Earth picture, which I was so surprised they let me take into the picture. And then I chugged the rest of it. And then my mom was waiting at the finish line. She's right before the photo pass tents near where you're rounding near Spaceship Earth. I like bolt because she told me, she's like, let me know when you're by the choir and like I'll like basically start recording. I start bolting there, and then like really basically like a couple like maybe 50 like meters after I pass my mom, I'm like the cider starts feet coming. Like I'm like, oh god. I'm like, I'm not about to yak and yeti because I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this on the course. So I had to like I just stopped for a second, take a deep breath. I'm like, okay, we're good. I did give Brittany Charbonneau, who was our female winner, a big high five as I ran into the finish. And I actually did hear Tracy announcing Natalie O'Malley coming into the finish, which was awesome because I rarely feel like I catch it, but I did. And yeah, that was another 26.2 done. And damn, it was just as emotional as the rest of them were, I would say. I mean, how can you not like be emo when you cross the finish line at Disney World? Duh. But especially just it was so special and magical. And it was a hard fought marathon. It kind of feels a lot like what I wish Chicago felt like at the finish line. Because this did feel like a redemption. Like Chicago, I did finish. So I don't want to discount that. I finished in a pretty good time, but it didn't feel right when I did it. So, and that, I don't know. I sometimes have to think about some of the feelings that I have around that. But this felt like basically the culmination of both of those finish lines. So Chicago to Dopey, I was like, you pulled this off and you feel good. Because I felt good for the fact that for all of the like lack of training per se. I mean, my lack of training is still usually doing pretty damn good with the training. But like kind of like things being a little messy in November into December, I felt good going into this finish line. Like I felt great actually. So I was definitely grateful I did feel bad because Jamie did not expect me to, our friend Jamie did not expect me to get to the finish line as fast as I did. So she did miss me. And I felt bad because I was like, I didn't realize I was going to have the zoomies that bad either. So like, I did give her a couple warnings and she's like, dang it, I think I missed you. I'm like, that's okay. It's a thought that counts. But talk me through the rest of your races.
Okay, so after I leave you at Animal Kingdom, it starts getting hot. I start dumping cups of water on my head. That sponge felt so good. I was like, oh, I'm so far ahead of the balloon ladies. Like, I'm just gonna vibe. I don't care. I walked more than I wanted to the second half, but I was like, still doing pretty good. And I had enough time to stop for a picture in front of the tower at Hollywood. And I like felt, oh my gosh, Lindsay was my accountability partner all summer. So like, thank you. But we did training together, a lot of it. I was like, hey, like, I'm going running. She's like, yeah. Or we're like, let's plan our long run this day. So like, that was really great. And I just knew for the marathon, I wanted to cross the finish line with her and Sarah, just because I knew how important this race weekend was to them. I kind of felt bad because at the beginning, I was like, I trained all summer doing 30-30, and I said that is what I'm going to stick with because that's what I trained for. So I knew I was going to run my own race. And then once I got into Epcot, Kat was standing there and Joe, Lindsay's husband, and I was like, I'm going to stand here and wait for them to catch up. And then we are going to cross the finish line together. Okay, you guys go.
I don't like crying. I don't need to do this. No, that was probably one of the most shocking things. Did not expect to see that in Epcot. So I'll get to that in a minute. But we got out of Animal Kingdom and
After you
we
guys made
on
me
a
say random facts.
yes, that honestly was fantastic. Sarah was giving us random facts
Were
into
they
Animal
animal
Kingdom.
facts?
Yes.
I was giving facts about the trucks, animals, things around the park. I was doing it all. I've determined for next year I'm going to make video facts for everyone to play at every mile mark. So you
So just do a rally of,
just a completely separate rally of just me every single mile marker. Different fact.
but that was amazing. It was the best way. That's what we did. So like every time we ran, we would just run until we couldn't run anymore, and then Sarah would give a fact, then we'd go on, so forth, because it felt so much better running than it did walking. So we just tried to run as much as possible. Sarah and CJ, I think, ended up going with the 6:45 pacer for a little bit, and then
Mm-hmm.
we caught back up. We were actually the first exact group. They put the cones down right in front of us going into Blizzard Beach.
Really?
So we were the first exact group that was like, no, continue on the course. I had probably a half a mile, if not more, ahead of the mile markers. So I wasn't like, obviously, I was mad about it because the course got cut short, but I kind of expected it. But also, I still had my 26.2, so I
Mm.
wasn't too upset about it. So they cut us off. We started our way to Hollywood Studios. As much as I wanted the chocolate, I couldn't do it. I thought if I put that in my mouth that I was gonna be done for. So got through Hollywood Studios, got onto the pathway to Epcot. This wonderful lady, best moment ever, looks at me and MB and goes, "Hey, do you guys want to see something funny?" She whips out a little airplane bottle and dumps it in her Coke. We're like, okay. So she's been running 24 miles with this airplane bottle in her pocket. Then she continues to go, "Well, do you guys want one?" So she hands us an unmarked bottle, and she's like, "It's Bacardi." So me, MB, Sarah, CJ had a little pick me up, which honestly I think at that point in time is what we needed.
We really did need that boost of confidence.
That takes the roadie to a whole new level.
It does.
Princess Weekend.
The last thing I would have ever expected between that and the wonderful lady with the cooler right by Boardwalk with the ice, like she was a saint.
That
I
was
loved
amazing.
I love the lady with the trash can too, who is just like literally like absolute like with the trash can of ice. Like, what a saint.
Exactly. It is
angels.
so wonderful. So then we get into Epcot. Jess is the last person I expect to see standing there. I figured she's done. She's probably down at the finish line with Jamie and Courtney, and we'll see her when we get there. So, of course, we're running in. I see Joe. I start crying. Then I see Jess. Then I start crying again. And he hands us all of our ciders, which we have like Jess posted the reel today, like just this emotional video of like you can tell I was crying. You could tell Sarah was crying. We're just like cheersing our ciders and literally just again, Hot Girl walked it to the finish line, had our drinks, had some amazing finish line pictures coming into the shoot. So I told Jess I could never thank her enough for waiting because she didn't need to do that.
I actually didn't cross with everyone. I crossed a little bit
No,
before because my got like a mile and a half left. I was like, no, no, I'm running this in. Also, I started crying. I was like, I need a moment like away from everyone to just like cry it out before they all finish because I knew the second I saw all of them after the finish, I was going to be a mess. I don't think I cried as much seeing everyone else as I did when I saw Lindsay. Like I dropped to the ground crying, and there's like pictures of us hugging,
with my double chin.
and I cry every time I see them.
Because you did it.
We did. It's fine. My mom was crying so much that she missed me going over, so she didn't get a video because she was crying. And she's like, Please, no, it's not that I don't love you. I was just crying too much.
That is a mood.
But Sonia's the real MVP because she was in the runners area where gear check was because I forget if it was Sarah CJ or Sarah and CJ had went to Medic real quick and she got her way back there. Yeah. Yeah, and she got her way back there and she's just standing there and she's crying and we're crying and I'm like, wait a second, like how did you get back here?
Legend.
It's Sonia. She can figure out anything.
I'm obsessed. That's so special. That is so, so special. Especially, I'm sure it just tasted even sweeter as your redemption.
I'm gonna cry again, god damn it.
As I was watching like the dots come over the line, too, I was like, another one, another one, another one. I was like, we all made it. We all made it, right? Like something that felt like insurmountable at a certain time. Like we did it and we did that thing. And knowing what it meant to everybody to cross that finish line, it was very special to witness, even if I was afar. And yeah, it was incredible. And also just the vibes were so high, even though like, I don't know, I feel like for the fact that like I wasn't there in 2020 when they had the cut course last. So in terms of like, I felt like the vibes were still really, like definitely still like freaking high for like the fact that like, I don't know, like, and I know that it was a little bit different where I feel like I think I heard that year it was like 3-ish miles was cut versus this year it was about 1.5 miles got cut. So I feel like in terms of like mathing out like the weaving, it's like, nah, we're good.
I do think I had like the best line though, like right when they cut the course. Because obviously my first one was done virtually, and then the last two I didn't
Mhm.
make far enough to get in toward Blizzard Beach, and I didn't do wine and dine half this past time. So I look at them and I'm like, so I am still yet to run Blizzard Beach.
Dead.
It's like you're telling me right now that I am still yet to run the Blizzard Beach parking lot.
I feel like at this point it's going to be so hyped up that you're going to run it and be like, oh my God, guys, it's fine. Especially because you've done the Magic Kingdom parking lots already.
And I'm just gonna be like, at this point, I'm just gonna run the parking lot.
TTC is way worse than Blizzard Beach. 100%.
I will second that.
Whoever made that is on my shit list. Because what the hell was that? What the hell was that?
A mile of
Well,
parking lot.
Sunday with them having to cut the cars is that. Right? Because like I feel like this is the best because people always ask why do we do this stupid parking lot for the Blizzard Beach one? I'm like, literally because of Sunday. Because look how easy they lop that off if they need to. Boop. There's certain areas where they just like you can just bloop, bloop. Like they can just cut. If you kind of look at the course certain ways, and chop it off. It's interesting it's kind of interesting to think about it. What did you guys think of the gold ears that we got as finishers of the marathon?
Obsessed.
I love them so much. I
Loved.
customize them.
Ooh. You couldn't customize them, you mean? Or you
No,
didn't?
like I couldn't bring myself to take them to
Gotcha.
shop and get them customized or embroidered. I couldn't bring myself to do it. So I bought a pair of white ears and customized those instead.
But those are so cute. I do plan on getting the gold ones customized though because I did it for my first marathon and then I want to have it with the dopey on it too. And I've seen a lot of them on Facebook that turned out so beautiful. So I plan on taking them back.
Yeah, I will bring mine back. Because I think I want to bring them out to California for coast to coast as well. So I didn't want to I wanted to make sure that I had them because I know they will mail. I think they will mail them to you if it's. But I don't know. I wanted that because I know that if you bring them back at Princess, it'll take like an hour for them to get them done. So, or even springtime, it was like less than an hour for when I got them done last year. I still have yet to do my 2024 years though, the goofy years. I haven't done them. I did my first dopey. I did my second dopey. I haven't done these yet, but I know I'm going to. I think I'm going to get gold embroidery on there, but I haven't done the goofy ones yet for reasons unbeknownst to me. because they're my favorite years though, because of the 26.2 is the biggest on those. But anywho, they are beautiful because I remember seeing them at first, and like I think that the picture that I had seen because they were at the expo, like the cap, like the piece for your head, like that looked a different color than it ended up being, where it's like on like nice soft like ivory. It's not quite ivory, but it's a little darker than that. But I love them. And I love that they're so different than the ears I have for the other finisher ears too. They're the most different that I've ever seen. Jess is showing us her other ears.
I did this.
Right
They're in
now.
my shadow box, but I just had my aunt write on them. But that's what I did. Yeah.
Yeah, mine are definitely not out right now. But so now we have collected our 6 medals. Talk to me about what you did for the rest of your day on Sunday.
I spent the rest of the reunion lot in the med tent.
There's some fabulous photos of it. We can laugh about it now that she's okay, but
But we were just sitting, talking. I was saying hi to people. And then all of a sudden I was like, I don't feel good. And then I guess my face got kind of pale. I don't know. And then I sat down and then I used my shoe as a pillow and I was literally just laying on the ground, super dizzy. And Jamie was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." She goes to get someone from Med and they bring over a couple of bags of ice and they're like, "Drink water, drink Powerade." And I was just laying there and she's like, "Your blood pressure is really high or your heart rate, whatever."
That is about the time where I joined,
Yeah.
where I was like, medical's like strapping ice to you. I'm like, oh boy.
Like I thought I fueled very well this race, but obviously I didn't because I wouldn't have felt like that. But she said it was like a lack of like dehydration and it was just so hot. So she's like, if
Right.
you don't feel better, like you need to come to us. So then I ended up going to the med tent area and got more ice and just put that in the back of my bra. And then I was there until they were calling for the last bus. So I didn't get any medal photos or anything like in the reunion lot.
I do want to comment on the shoe as a pillow for a second here, because now I'm hearing that a shoe can be a good place for both your ID and for your pillow and a pillow.
Oh my gosh.
Refer to episode 45.
I did not think of that until now. That is fantastic.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Stay tuned. It's like stay tuned to see what Jess does with her shoe at Princess.
Or next Dopey.
Yeah, I'm like living for the idea of like what else can, like, it's like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Like, where in the world or what in the world is Jess's shoe going to be used for? Like, is she going to hide an ice in it next time? I don't know. If you somehow hide an ice in your shoe, I won't even be mad when you give it to me, because I would deserve it for talking smack. I wouldn't even be mad.
That's so funny. Didn't even think of that. Here we go. It's fine. I already said I'm doing Dopey next year, so we'll see what happens next year with my shoe.
You're gonna have to like be a shoe as a costume someday.
Wait, stop. No, because they do ornaments. You could be a shoe ornament.
That's what you're being next year. You have no choice. I don't care what
5K,
race
you
it
have
is.
to do it.
Yes.
All right, well, we'll have to have craft night.
Say less.
What's more stressful, crafting for a marathon weekend or doing a marathon? Probably crafting,
Probably.
which is why I did none of it. Which is why I did none of it for this marathon weekend. Nuh-uh. I knew my limitations as a human, and it was no craft this time. Sarah, how did you spend your marathon Sunday?
I went with CJ to go get massages at the Grand Flow Spa because we're all at mile 15 to book that appointment. And it was quite funny because they asked him, she's like, wait, like you're doing what right now? He's like, we're at mile 15 of the marathon. What times do you have? So we went and did that. And then we went and met up with everyone at Epcot. And then we had dinner reservations, but I think the highlight of my time in Epcot was getting a moonshine sour, which if you don't know, that is my all-time favorite drink to get in Epcot now. That moonshine sour lasted no more than 5 minutes. I chugged it, slammed my thing down, slammed my cup down on the table and said, "Slowpokes."
I'm dead.
And then proceeded to go have dinner in Germany and get a beer.
Iconic.
A stein of beer, not just a beer.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't think of anything better. Ooh, ooh, that sounds so clutch. We went to Raglan Road for dinner, but that sounds really clutch. Like, especially, I'm mostly just picturing the beer stein, and then the other stuff is ancillary in like a good way. But like, because I really want to go to Beer Garden. I've never been, but whew, that sounds good. Besides, we did Raglan Road. We actually saw the dancers, and as a former Irish dancer, fun fact, I Irish danced for like 11 years competitively, and so I don't know. I'm not saying I was sitting judging, but like I was like kind of not judging because they were good. Like, but I was like, I very much was like looking at like the technique and whatnot. Like I was definitely like nosy. But the dancers were great. Definitely, yeah, they were great. But because my mom would, it was almost like quizzing me. She was like, "What's this?" I was like, "This is a reel." She's like, "What's this?" "This is a treble jig." "What's this?" I was like, "No, don't worry. I still remember." It's been a really long time since my Irish dance career necessarily ended, but don't worry. That's like burnt into my brain. After that, we went to Magic Kingdom because I wanted to see Starlight. I hadn't seen that yet, so absolutely lost my mind when the Dopey float came by because he like waved at me a few days later. Well, we'll get to that. But whenever like Dopey like waves at me specifically, I'm like, "Hi, bestie. I'm here." My friend Travis met up with me too because he was leaving the next morning, so it was great because he was able to. I was able to spend a little bit of time with him. He claims he's retiring from marathons, and because I know you're listening to this right now, Travis, I'll be the one who decides when you retire from marathons. No, I'm kidding. It was great. I did take my pink pony ride on Marathon Sunday. My mom was with me and she's like, "I don't think I've been on the carousel since you were like," I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Am I 10 or 30? But we're riding the ponies right now." It was lovely. Lovely, actually. I didn't quite close down Magic Kingdom that night because by a certain point, I was like, I could go get in line for 7 doors, but like, I'm not happening. So, Metal Monday. Talk to me about what you did for that.
We went to breakfast at Steakhouse 71. Never went. It was very good.
Ooh, what'd you have?
I actually booked it. I just got scrambled eggs and breakfast potatoes and bacon and toast and a mimosa. Lindsay, what did you have?
I had the Walt's famous hash and a mimosa, and delicious. And I stole Joe's biscuit because it looked too good not to.
Ended up at Animal Kingdom because it was a good to go day. I think my original plan was Epcot. I don't remember, but had a bid adieu to Dinosaur. Woke up feeling pretty okay, if I'm being real with you. Like, was not army crawling to the bathroom the way sometimes it feels like you're army crawling to the bathroom after a full. Little tender. But once I really got moving, it was great. A clutch move I made for this was bringing my Ghost Max 2s. I don't run in them really, like more than like 3 to 5 miles, but my Minnie Mouse ones, they were my walking shoes, and that was a last minute choice I made. And I'm so glad I did. Because usually I bring a pair of beaters. But no, my feetsies needed more than beaters. So I was nice to my feet. But I was glad I actually took metal pictures outside Dinosaur. Because I'm like, well, I'm never going to be able to do this again. It's going extinct. So I took metal picture. Took actually the most metal pictures in Animal Kingdom this time around, which was great.
Magic Kingdom is very busy.
I can imagine. So I've never actually been to Magic Kingdom. Oh no, I did my first marathon. Never mind. On Metal Monday, but never since I feel like they had like the stations and stuff set up. Talk to me about that.
We didn't do the stations. We did our own. It was a 2-hour wait.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy.
So we found a nice little spot
Hmm.
and did not move from said spot, I would say, for what, like at least an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like we brought Casey's to the hub grass so we didn't have to move because people were like starting to like bogart to the point of like trying to see if we were going to move, but we weren't moving. And
Mm-hmm.
Damn. That's nuts. So even like everywhere, like, because I know they had the special like challenge participant stuff like behind like the castle that was like still super long. That's
Um,
wild.
yeah, I mean, I never made my way back that far, so I don't know
Oh, okay.
exactly. Fast forward to like 5 o'clock, I was going. We went back to Magic Kingdom, and they like had to close off that original photo pass area because they had to open it for like firework viewing. Yeah. So, and the one photographer was like, this is like the first time like we've actually done this. She's like, but like send feedback because maybe they would do it on Tuesdays as well because she's like, this is like new for us. And like they didn't realize how
Yeah.
popular Metal Monday was.
I did notice even when I was at Hollywood Studios on that Friday that they actually had the 5K and 10K medals out just at like a random photo pass on Sunset Boulevard.
oh,
So they are getting better about having like a copy of medals around. And they are getting better about that. I thought that was great at Wine and Dine too, that they had the medals out. They already had them all lined up in areas. Like we waited for like the medal photos in the hub, but yeah, that's kind of nuts. I mean, like it is. I don't know if I'd have like a 2 hour wait in me. Like if I
No.
can't sit like the day after a marathon, like that's a no for me, dog. Because what I did is I did my capture your moment session last year. I didn't do one this year on Tuesday purposefully because I wanted to avoid all of like Monday shenanigans in Magic Kingdom. Not because like it was just I was like I know it's gonna be crazy and I'm just gonna do my capture the moment on Tuesday morning instead. At a certain point, I met up with you. I got to Magic Kingdom eventually, and I'm trying to figure
Mm-hmm.
out.
We had Beacon Barrel reservations at 6:45.
Yes,
It was Kat
I
and
got into Hollywood
Bethany.
Studios first.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you did.
I did. I did. I was trying to think of what the heck I was doing. I did do Rock and Roller Coaster. Rock and Roller Coaster apparently was down all day until a certain point because I got there and single rider was closed. I was like, what do I do with that information? And I was just sitting outside there and like then I see them drop the rope for single rider and I like bolt in there. I still waited like 45 minutes, but it was better than 70. And also it was weird because that could be the last time I ever do Rock and Roller Coaster. I'm probably gonna make it on a Princess because I had a couple lasts that day. So I had my last dinosaur, that's for sure. And then I did Rock and Roller Coaster, and that could be my last. I just didn't want to bank on that last weekend. Like, I don't know how if I'm gonna be tired on Sunday. I don't know. I'm gonna be feral, I'm sure. But because Sunday of the half is the last day of Rock and Roller Coaster. So whatever would have you. And then I went to Magic Kingdom from there, where then I got some metal pictures. I actually got dinner, like a flatbread at Pinocchio's Village House that kind of slapped.
I've never ate there.
I haven't in a long, 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 long time. And actually it was pretty, I just wanted something warm because it was cold. So that was good. But Beacon Barrel was amazing. It was my first time in there. And Jess, I kind of love whenever you and I just kind of give each other a look across a table at a bar and some kind of shenanigan is happening after that.
like the look she gave me after the 5K when we were on our way to Epcot.
We three are trouble together.
I can't wait for more trips.
Same. But like we're in Beacon Barrel and like it was like, oh, we want a second drink and Jess kind of like, no, I'm like, oh, I'll get a second. And then we kind of look at each other and we go, are we taking our pink pony ride on the carousel after this? And we nod and we're like, another, please. I loved it in there. It was so good. I love how like into the store, like the show it all is. Like I've never done Trader Sam's before. Oh, I've done Trader Sam's once, but I was alone, which I feel like kind of kills the vibe.
I would say I like Beacon Barrel over Trader Sam's.
Ooh. I would say so too, but also again, like I was alone when I did Trader Sam's. So I feel like part of it is like the shenanigans like with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely like it better than Oga's. Mostly because like there's more opportunities to sit and like not feel like you're like crushed in there as well. But I really liked it. I loved how everyone was into the show. I loved a little pirate guy, the little bird, the parrot. And it was great.
Yeah, I mean, I can say I think I like Beacon Barrel more than, I mean, Oga's I like, but apparently we found this out that I don't know Star Wars very well because I thought I got a picture with Darth Vader and it was not.
It was Kylo Ren, and that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yes. Also, because she said, I'm stopping for death. It's like, like a very noble cause to say, like, I'm not stopping unless, like, the good Lord takes me. But no, she meant Darth, which was actually Kylo Ren.
It's fine. So yeah, so Beacon Barrel. So we got a second drink.
Something I did forget to bring up is that my mom had her first Nomad Lounge
Oh.
ever when we were at Animal Kingdom, and she really liked it.
Did she have congaloosh?
I had Pungaloosh. She did not. Yes. She really liked it. Especially because we got seats because I usually just go to the bar. That's what I'm here for. But yeah, it was great because she's like, no, I might like this more than Satuli. I'm like, well, I really, really hit it out of the park with that one. Obviously, I'm obsessed with Nomad, but all the other times, like, she's either been just doing something else, like in a show that I was like, I don't know if I want to go to, or like she was running behind or whatever. So I've never actually taken her into Nomad before, which was great. But yes, post Beacon Barrel, we had One Track Minds, and it was called Taking Our Pink Pony Ride. But we did catch the very end of Starlight because it starts at like the front of Magic Kingdom and like on Main Street and goes toward Frontierland. We had Dopey, and like Dopey chose us. Dopey was waving specifically at me and Jess and going, I'm going to see you next year. And we were like, yeah, you are going to see us next year. You're totally seeing us next year.
Mm-hmm.
He chose us.
He waved
The
to us.
chokehold he has on us.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
He summoned us. And then we went to the carousel.
I've never ridden the carousel before.
Which is a great choice after several drinks, too. I learned that I probably need to start Pink Pony Club like while we're like sitting waiting, because it's like a 2.5 minute long ride on the carousel, and the song's like 4 minutes long. So we improvise and adapt here, everybody. But we took our Pink Pony ride on the carousel after the marathon. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous, actually. Core memory.
Mm-hmm.
As we're laughing and there are children around us. But,
it was so busy.
Then we went over to the People Mover. Kat departed by this point where she wanted to just kind of beat the traffic out of Magic. Went over the People Mover, and then fireworks were starting, which was like extra magical. And then we like got out. I swear this was like out of a movie. We got out. We're on the Tomorrowland Bridge, right as like Go the Distance part of Happily Ever After is starting. And Jess and I just lose it. Like, full blown, tears down, like, done. We're like, this is so magical. Yeah, we're totally doing this again next year. It was amazing. It was just, I haven't seen Happily Ever After from that, like, vantage point in a while where, like, Tinkerbell literally flies toward you. So, it was awesome. It was incredible.
It was a good end cap. Good night cap to the weekend.
Yes. Absolutely. Though we still got our medal pictures after.
Oh, yeah.
So we waited for some of like the hubbub to kind of subside. Actually, they had an after hours event at Magic Kingdom that evening, the paid after hours, but we got medal pictures, and there were two people behind us who had balloons, and we're like, can we borrow your balloons real quick? As we have our Dopey medals on. And so we took pictures as like balloon ladies, quote unquote, because we DLS the 10K. And we literally were dying laughing because we were like holding on for dear life to these people's balloons. Like they were weighted, but like we're like holding on, like make sure that we don't like drop somebody's balloons. But they're some of my like favorite medal pictures.
They turned out very good, and it was very fun to like talk to the people behind us because they were like interested to see like what we did this weekend.
Which I love, like, and I love like sharing a little bit, like, because we're in a cult, so like I like sharing a little bit about my cult to with other people. like explaining like what it is that you just did. It's incredible. But yeah, we kind of moseyed on out of Magic Kingdom and headed for our respective resorts. Day the last, I didn't really get all that much done this day, but I did also at the same time got a lot done. Did get my husband his peace offerings of his Rice Krispies because on their way out of Magic Kingdom, because it was an after hours event, you had to have a wristband to get in the confectionery, which is fine. If I were paying for a party, like I would probably also want that to be cut off after a certain time. So I got that. And then my mom really wanted a caramel apple. So I got her a caramel apple. The only thing I did the rat ride. I did Ratatouille without the for my first time without the 3D. Once I got to Epcot, because my mom went to Epcot first, and then it was pretty much time for me to, because I had the adult flight. I actually had a 3:00 flight instead of waiting till like the 7 p.m., which I usually do. And I usually most times I book the adult flight, I end up on the late flight anyway because there's some sort of dumb delay. And then I'm like, oh, back to Disney I go. Bye. Anyway, but it was great. It was like magic. It was definitely magical. I kind of love when I go on like a little like weird side quest though, where I'm like, yes, must get Rice Krispie from Magic Kingdom Confectionery. What did your last morning look like?
We had to check out of our hotel. Kat and I, we went to Hollywood Studios. We rode Tower of Terror. Oh, we did Toy Story Mania. And then at that time, Kat had to go because she had a 1 p.m. flight or something like that. Maybe 2. My flight, I did not take the adult flight. My flight was at 7:30 at night. And I thought it was a great day to do 4 parks one day. So I hit up all
Yeah,
4
it was.
parks. I did Hollywood Studios, went to Epcot, went to Magic, then went to Animal Kingdom. What's another 20,000 steps after Dopey Challenge? It's
You're
fine.
just training for next year.
Exactly. I was able to get medal photos in all 4 parks. I did not do dinosaur because I was worried I was gonna miss my Uber. So I did the new Zootopia show, and I was like, well, I guess I'm not gonna be able to ride dinosaur for the last time. But joke's on me, I have a trip booked to Disney next weekend, so I will be able to ride dinosaur. So yeah, and then I flew home.
Any last parting thoughts related to marathon weekend before we wrap things
Trust
up?
your training. This is my 3rd year doing Dopey and my first time actually training. I know I'm not proud of that, but trust your training. I felt so good all weekend.
Yeah, I would probably say same as Jess, trust your training, listen to your body, and honestly, don't be scared to fail. I failed it in 2025, and really, I think that just made me more stronger and more determined to put in the work and get it done this year. And honestly, I had the time of my life. So if you failed it in this year, or if you failed it last year, don't let it discourage you and definitely sign up again because you will have the absolute best time.
Well said. I'd also say that to add to that and like the bits about training, I feel like there were certain things that I thought were not like catastrophic in my training because I was a little bit chiller because I literally was like hanging on for dear life by December. But I was like, oh man, like this is really like, I don't know how this is going to go type of thing. Like it in the way it hit during marathon weekend, like first of all, I've never actually gone into a marathon week with my Garmin saying I was peaking. It told me I was productive after the marathon, not overreaching, productive. Let me just start there. But also, like, there's like you do the training for the reason to you make the mistakes in training for a reason. And like getting again, like I know that we all like say it like it's time on feet. It's getting what you can get in. Because I'm still shocked at how good I felt after considering I didn't think I would. I kind of figured that I was like, I'm probably going to feel a lot more like my first Dopey where I was there after, but it was really hard to get on and off the toilet for like way longer than I really want to admit. But I felt good. So again, trust your training, do your training.
Even if you miss a couple weeks, that's okay. Because even after wine and dine, I
Yes.
like fell off, and then I started again. The highest I got was 15 miles during my training, and that was before wine and dine. So time on feet.
I would say don't let like a couple missed weeks like derail yourself completely. Like just you can't get back on the wagon if you don't make a step to get on it. So I would say do what you can. Don't do anything like silly going like 0 to 26, like not good. But do what you can to get yourself back on the wagon. But like you feel so much better when you are like, and also I feel like the victory is so much sweeter when like you have like that buildup of all those months prior leading up to it in a way. Either way though, 48.6 miles or 5 or even 3 miles, even no matter what distance that you completed during marathon weekend, I'd say it's worth a celebration. And I miss it already. Is that weird?
No, because I want to go back.
Me too.
Like,
I'm sad.
thank God we have Princess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even Disneyland coming up. But, like, thank God we have Princess.
Agreed.
Well, thanks for joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you again to Jess, Lindsay, and Sarah for joining me for this special 2-part Dopey Challenge Roundtable. Just to specify, Sarah had to go, so that is why she kind of just trailed off a little bit after the marathon discussion. If you enjoyed listening to our show, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We love reading your reviews out loud. You might even be featured on a future podcast episode. We have a community spotlight on our Instagram at Stride Sisters Podcast. If you want to be featured for a Medal Monday, Finish Line Friday, or any accomplishment you want to celebrate, send us a picture via our social media platforms or our email. And to continue the fun, join us on our Facebook page. All the ways to connect with us can be found in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Until our next adventure, we're wishing you endless miles of magic and memories. See you next time.